in Dodgeville. Call 930-3000 for delivery. You better do it now.
D99.3.
6'1" junior, number 11, Kyle Volker.
Starting lineups being introduced. Let's go to the PA announcer.
For the Cheesemakers, 6'3" senior, number 12, John Hickey. Also at guard, 6'1" senior, number 20, Darren Hawkins. And at center, 6'6" senior, number 34, Jesse Espy. Starting for Dodgeville, 6'1" junior, number 4, Kevin McGraw. 6'3" junior, number 5, Jeremy Martin. 6'3" junior, number 15, David Toon. 6'1" junior, number 20, Josh Culver. And 5'10" senior, number 33, Carl Reynolds. Horseman coach for the Cheesemakers is Pat Murphy, assisted by Brian Bassett. Horseman coach for the Dodgers is Chuck Tank, assisted by Jeff Bradley and Ron Grass.
All right, there you got the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. Monroe will have as their starters Tyler Janur, also Kyle Folker, John Hickey, Darren Hawkins, and Jesse Espy for the Dodgers. Their starters, of course, the traditional ones. We've seen them all year long. Carl Reynolds, Jeremy Martin, along with Kevin McGraw, David Tews, and Josh Culver. Tonight's tip-off brought to you by your neighborhood True Value Hardware store in Dodgeville, where service is the difference. Terry and his staff wish all the best to the Dodgers in the boys basketball tournament. David Tews to jump center for the Dodgers, and the ball's in the air, controlled by Monroe. As the Cheesemakers will get the ball first time around as Deneur has it at the top. Deneur passes it up left wing side. Here's a drive to the basket, put up and good by Kyle Folker. So Folker with the quick basket, and Monroe jumps out to the early 2-0 lead. Dodgers with the ball, McGraw in the right corner. He gets out on the angle, bounce feeding it to Tews, and it's poked away from him from behind by Monroe and out of bounds, and the Dodgers will get control of the ball. They will inbound from their right forecourt corner as we get things underway here. This is, both these teams are anxious to go. We got supposed to be a 1:30 start. We start at 1:25. Here's McGraw up on the left angle. He gives it up to Reynolds at the top. Reynolds back off to McGraw at the left angle. He looks inside, nothing much there. Now he'll pass up on the right wing. Here's Martin with a drive to the basket. All the way to the basket, puts it up. No good, no, an offensive foul is called on Martin. So Jeremy Martin on the drive to the basket gets the offensive foul. And so the ball, Monroe has it.
That was a little late call by the officials right there. Martin was right underneath the basket. Kind of surprised they called an offensive foul.
Well, 2-0 lead here for Monroe. Here's a drive right baseline. A shot is taken and up and good by Kyle Folker. And Folker nails the jumper. And it's a 4-0 lead here for Monroe. Dodgeville with the ball as they pass it up on the right wing side. It's Martin. Martin has it. They get off on the left side to the pass inside to Martin. Now inside is the pass from Culver. Culver has it now to the left angle up on the right side to Reynolds. Now on the right wing they go to McGraw. Bounce feeding inside to Tews. Spin move inside. And a whistle and a foul. Going to be called on Monroe on the reach-in. And the foul will be called on Jesse Espy. So Espy will get whistled down for the first foul for Monroe in the game. First team foul. And the Dodgers will inbound from either their own basket. As it's inbound to Culver with a tough shot in the lane. Puts it up, no good. Goes for the rebound, picked up there by Hickey for Monroe. Cheesemakers with the early 4-0 lead, 6:30 remaining here in this first quarter. With the ball at the top of the key is John Hickey. Passing it to the left wing side. They got it up to Hawkins. Back out high. Here's a drive to basket. They dish out on the left wing side to Folker. Now here's a jump shot left wing side. Is off the rim, no good. Here's a baseline rebound by Deneur. Puts it up, no good. Rebound fought for, and we got a whistle underneath and a foul going to be called on Dodgeville. Right now, Monroe going after the ball well and getting those rebounds as McGraw gets the first foul for him and a second team foul for the Dodgers. Ball going to be inbounded by Monroe as it's tossed inbounds at the top. And our our little 2-bit radios here giving us a little trouble here at the broadcast. We'll try to keep going, okay? Jesse Espy up on the top here to Tyler Deneuer. Bounce feeding inside. They give it to Falker and gets it back out high as the Dodgers now settle back into kind of a 2-1-2 zone. Here's a right wing shot on the way. No good. And an over the back foul going to be called on Monroe as Jesse Espy climbed over the back for the foul. Good call by the referee. And you're going to hear a real predominant Monroe cheering on this side because all the Monroe fans are on this side of the broadcast area. Substitution coming in here as Nathaniel Scott comes into the game for the Cheesemakers. Dodgers trying to get on the board. Here's a bounce pass on the wing. Here's Tews all the way to the basket. Puts it up. He draws the foul. And a blocking foul called on Monroe. And that foul will be on Nathaniel Scott.
I like what Dodgeville is doing so far in this first quarter. They're going to the hoop, getting the early fouls on these big guys from Monroe.
Well, it was something that they tried doing in the game against McFarland. And also in their first game in this playoffs against Platteville. As Tews' first free throw's up and good, the Dodgers are on the board. 4-1, the lead to Monroe. 5:43 left here in the first quarter. As we wait for the second free throw from David Tews, it's on the way, good. Has a 4-2 lead as Monroe has the ball as Deneuer will bring it into the forecourt for the Cheesemakers. Man-to-man defense played by the Dodgers. Deneuer with the dribble, left side. Now bounce feeding it into the left corner to Falker, back out high. Yes, Falker will swing it back out on top to Scott. Now into the hands of Hawkins. Hawkins being ball hawked by Reynolds. Pass inside, stolen by McGraw. McGraw on the steal for the Dodgers. Out on the wing, here's Tews. Up on the left wing, cross-court pass, that's intercepted. Nice steal made by Hawkins, drives to the basket, dishes it back out, shot on the way, no good. And the rebound fought for near side, comes down with the Dodgers have it. It's Reynolds. Reynolds for three. It's off the iron, no good, and the rebound brought down there by Scott. Here up on the left wing pass. Off the hands of Hawkins. He gets it back. There's travel that got away with, and a shot is good for three by John Hickey. Hickey traveled before he put the shot up, but no call by the referee. It's 7-2, the lead in favor of Monroe. Here's Martin with it up at the left angle. Back on top to Reynolds. Reynolds has it. He'll dribble towards the lane. Heads inside. Just as off on the left wing side to Martin. Here's Tews with a drive to the basket. Puts it up in the lane. Off the backboard. No good. They fight for the ball. Last touch by Monroe out of bounds. Substitutions again coming in here for Monroe as Ryan Young will come into the ballgame along with Aaron Richard. As they'll come in to replace John Hickey. As Martin will inbound for the Dodgers underneath his own basket. Long tossing it across. They'll go all the way to the backcourt where Tews will run it down. Tews will give it off to Culver, who'll set up the offense. It was only a 2-point basket there. They had called it a 3-pointer. So it's 6-2 on the scoreboard. Here's a shot by McGraw. It's around the rim, no good. And the rebound brought down there by Deneuer. Deneuer on the fly, gets it up into the forecourt, left wing side now. Goes all the way to the basket, puts up a shot, blocked by Tews out of bounds. Not down this lane, says David Tews. There's the ball out of bounds, and Monroe will have it as Hawkins will trigger it in here for Monroe. Back up onto the top now, a feed under the high post. Into the hands of Hawkins. Hawkins back to the top to Deneuer. They go up on the left wing side. They work around that offense very quickly. Very quick ball movement for this Monroe Cheesemaker team. Now a zone played on this inbounds, and the pass inside. They work it back out on the perimeter. Here's Richard with it. He gets it off up on top. Here they kick it back up on the right wing with it in the corner to Young in the lane. As Young will have it at the right angle, gets it back out of the hands of Hawkins. And the Dodger defense right now is really preventing Monroe from really getting any good look to the basket. I'll tell you what, Monroe moving that ball awfully fast around that perimeter. Good quickness, both of these clubs. You heard about it in the pregame. Should not be a surprise. Here's a bounce feed here in the corner. A little back pass, and the shot is up and good by Nathaniel Scott. Scott that time on the weak side, little back pass that time. He receives it, puts it in. 8-2 the lead. Here's Reynolds with the pass up to Culver on the left wing side. Culver with a jump shot. It's off the iron, no good. Ball's loose on the floor, picked up there by Ryan Young. Young in the backcourt. Swings it off on the left side. You got a seat, sitting it. As here's fast to Hawkins as he goes in. Here's a blocking foul going to be called on Reynolds as Richard, that time on the drive, gets fouled by Reynolds. That'll be his first foul. That'll be the second team foul for the Dodgers. Again, substitutions for Monroe as Mitch Kubley steps in the game. We have a timeout called by Dodgeville. We'll take a timeout, a 30-second break, 8-2 lead for Monroe. You're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
We're all the bank you'll ever need, Livingston State Bank. That's what keeps us in the lead. We take good care of you. First rate full service and the style you're sure to like. We're there when you need us. We're the people who treat you right. We're all the bank you'll ever need, Livingston State Bank.
D99.3.
Bob looking along with Chris Bowman back here at Mineral Point High School, where Monroe with the early 8-2 lead over Dodgeville. 2:45 left here in this first quarter. Monroe with the ball at their own baseline as John Hickey will trigger it in as he gets it off to Richard and back out on top. They have the ball as it's out on the left wing to Hickey. They work it around the defense. Again, zone played by Dodgeville off that inbounds. With it up on the left wing side is Kubley as they work it around the defense. Again, Kubley up on the left wing side. Now dribbles out of traffic. We'll kick it back up on the top to Ryan Young. Kubley looks inside, doesn't have anything there. Swings it to Young, and now off onto the side there to Brian DeGuys. Again, very patient on the offense as the Dodgers clogging up the middle, and Monroe playing a lot of catch around the top area. But again, the patience, waiting for the back cutters, waiting for somebody to get free inside. Here's a right wing pass. Here's a drive to the basket. They kick it back out, and there's Culver almost stealing it. Gets into the back court, and is run down there by Kubley. He'll have to bring it into the forecourt again for Monroe. 1:55 left here in this first quarter. Here's a down deep pass. Here's feet peeled off. Shot up, no good. Tip up is up and good. And they'll give the basket to Aaron Richard. That's 10-2. And we got a foul, and a foul's going to be called to Monroe in the backcourt. Ryan Young on the reach in gets called for the foul. And that'll be his first foul of the game, and it'll be the fourth team foul for Monroe. Dodgers trailing by 8, 10-2 the score. They got to start finding a little offense here. It's Culver with the ball out high. He'll pass it right wing side to Reynolds. Reynolds with the ball. He gets it back out on top to McGraw, to Culver up on the left wing side. Culver looks nobody underneath, so instead they'll give it back out high to Twos. Twos with the ball. Dribbles right side, kicking it off on the right wing to McGraw. Back to Twos, posting up inside, puts up a shot. In off the rim, no good, and almost getting a three-point play, but he draws the foul as Brian DeGuys will get the foul. And that'll be his first personal foul.
First personal, 15.
And a 15 foul here for the Cheesemakers, and Twos going to the line to shoot a pair of free throws. Dodgers have yet to get a field goal here in this game. As the free throw good by Twos. All their scoring has been done from the free throw line, and it's all been done by David Twos thus far. So we wait for the second on the way, and that's good by Twos. 10-4, lead for Monroe. A minute 11 left here in this first quarter. Walking into forecourt is Kubley. Kubley gets double teamed, loses the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Dodgeville. They got him into a little trap there. There's McGraw, and Reynolds got him hemmed in there, but he lost the ball, but it bounced off a Dodger out of bounds.
And that's the defense we saw in McFarland that Dodgeville had. In-your-face defense. They need more of this to get back in the game.
Well, we talked in the pregame, sometimes the defense sets up the offense. As we get things inbounded here, and the ball swatted away by Twos, but again, last touch by Twos as he had a nice reach in there and almost came up with it as Brian DeGuys kind of held the ball out there for everyone to have a whack at. So, into the forecourt again. Here's a steal this time to McGraw. McGraw will drive to the basket all the way and lays it up. No good and no foul. Back comes Monroe to the basket. They go with a left wing pass. Here's a shot taken up and no good. Martin with a rebound. Gets it on the outlet. Hits Twos. Twos to the drive. Goes to the basket. He's fouled on the way in. And a foul going to be called on Monroe. And they're starting to mount up a little bit here on the Cheesemaker side. As the foul will be whistled down here against Brian DeGeis. Second foul for him. And Tews goes to the line.
Where he's 4 of 4 from the free throw line. All the Dodgers scoring so far in this first quarter.
It's all been free throws so far here for the Dodgers, and 34.6 seconds left here in the first quarter as Tews' first free throw is off the front iron, no good. Monroe bringing in now some more substitutes. Polker back into the ball game. And also Darren Hawkins. And also, I believe Tyler Deneur stepping in here. And Tews at the line here to shoot his second free throw. Tews free throws up, and it's good. 10-5 the score, and Cody Holbert is going to come in here for the Dodgers in to replace Kevin McGraw. So Holbert steps onto the court with 34.6 seconds remaining, 10-5 the lead. And Monroe with it, and they have the ball here, and they may be holding for one last shot here in this first quarter, I should say. As Deneur with it, with the left-hand dribble, man-to-man defense, and being played there by Culver. Up on high with the ball, now it's Falker. Falker being played by Holbert, dribbles around one pick, now being ball hawked by Reynolds, instead of puts it up on top there to Hawkins with 10 seconds on the clock. They work it around to Deneur. Deneur dribble penetrates. Here's a three-pointer on the way from left angle. That won't be good, but the rebound underneath is put up, and that will not be good as a shot was tried from behind the basket by Kyler Falker, and as soon as it hits the basket, that's out of bounds. So with 1.3 seconds left, Dodgers will have that much time left. Ball to Culver, long shot at the buzzer, and that's the end of period number 1. 10-5, Monroe with the lead. Let's take a 1-minute break. You're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
Who is coming through for you? That's great.
As Dodgeville will have the ball starting this second quarter as Culver will have it into the forecourt for Dodgeville. Bounce feeding it right side to Reynolds. Reynolds heads towards the basket, up on the wing to Culver for 3 on the way. It's up and it's good. First field goal in the game for the Dodgers, and it's a 3-ball from Josh Culver, and it's now 10-8. Even with all of Monroe's dominance that first quarter, only a 2-point lead.
I know.
Here with the drive to the basket is Hawkins. He stops with it, passes it back out high, up on the right wing side. Underneath, a shot blocked by McGraw. McGraw gets it on the wing to Culver. Culver in the lane, swings it out to Tews on the left wing. Tews has it at the top to Martin on for 3-ball. 3-licious! Timeout! Monroe! 11-10, Dodgers with a lead. Let's take a 1-minute break and listen to High School Sports on D99.3.
Kawasaki Mule utility vehicles have earned a reputation as the most capable on the market. Every one features a class-leading combination of 4-wheel suspension and a strong, dependable, purpose-built engine. Choices include the Mule 3000 series with their V-twin engines and the 550 with its handy single-cylinder engine. Stop by the Farmers Implement Store in Mineral Point today and ask for the Kawasaki utility vehicles that are as strong as mules.
What features make a good drugstore? Corner Drugstore in Dodgeville has 2 convenient locations, Corner Drugstore downtown and Corner Drugstore south, located between the hospital and the doctor's offices in the professional building. Both locations offer the same services, including computerized records, third-party billing, generic medicines, 24-hour emergency service, and free delivery. Corner Drug South offers convenient parking and easy handicap access. Corner Drug Downtown and Corner Drug South in the professional building. Over 100 years of service to the Iowa County area.
D99.3.
Well, back here's a play off the inbound. It's a shot is up and good by Kyle Falker. So Falker with the basket gives Monroe the lead back at 12-11 as a play right off of the inbounds. Here's Martin going baseline, stops, gets it back out high to Reynolds. Reynolds with his pass deflected away, gets it back, however. Now back off to Martin. 3-ball is up, and it is good. 14-12. Dodgers with a lead. 6:38 remaining in this second quarter. With the ball at the top is Hawkins. It pass on to the left wing side to Hickey. To Hawkins. Way out high up on the right side now is Hespy. And here's a traveling third turnover for Monroe in the game. And Falker that time didn't put the ball down, and he gets called for the travel.
You could just feel the energy in this building once again on the Dodgeville side with those back-to-back threes.
Yep. Here's when McGraw getting into the forecourt. Gets it off to Culver. He'll stop. Pops from 10 feet. He hits it. 16-12. So the Dodgers trailing by 8 at one point in this game, and now we have an offensive foul away from the ball called against Monroe. And I believe that foul is going to be on Nathaniel Scott. Scott gets the call. Second foul for him, and the Dodgers get the ball right back. And horn sounds. What do we got here? It's going to be bonus, isn't it? Yep. I was looking at it, and I says, gee, I see 7 up on the board. There's 6:06 left here in the half. Should be coming down to shoot some froze.
Because Monroe got themselves in some foul trouble in that first quarter because Dodgeville did an excellent job of just keeping their poise and taking the ball to the basket, being patient.
Well, at the free throw line will be Josh Culver. He'll shoot a 1+1. So Culver at the line. Gets set to go here. 16-12 Dodger lead. First free throw bounces the front iron. No good. And the rebound brought down by Hickey for Monroe. Gets it out on the wing quickly to Falker. He'll stop at the right side. Falker being ball hawked by Twos. Bounce inside. Here's a feed. Stolen away by Culver. They tried to double back door, but Culver was there to Martin up on the right wing. Culver at the top. Drives to the basket. Swings it out to Reynolds. Reynolds baseline. Lower running one-hander. Good! Timeout. Nope, an official's timeout. As the ball got away from him, trying to give it for the inbound.
That's just a nice drive by Carl Reynolds, using the baseline to his advantage and just popping up, getting that little floater up over the big guys of Monroe.
Well, substitutions coming in here as Kubley gets back into the ball game here for Monroe. 18-12 lead for the Dodgers. 5:35 left here in the first half. Up on the right wing side is Falker. He'll pass it up on the left side now in the hands of Kubley. Kubley swings it again, and off the hands of Falker and out of bounds. That is the 5th turnover in this half for Monroe.
Number 3, Aaron Richard back in the game.
So coming back in the game now is Aaron Richard for Monroe. He's into the game. Coach Pat Murphy shuttling a whole lot of players in and out of this ball game. And at the rate this game is being played, you know it's going to pay a little dividends later on.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see how much gas there is in the tank of the Dodgeville players here tonight. Here's Culver for 3, long one. Good! Like they say on the playground, he's feeling it. 21-12. 5 minutes remaining. Out on top of the ball is Kubley. He'll get up on the right wing side to Hickey. Hickey up on the right side with Kubley again. Now they work it into the left corner. Bounce pass on the baseline is up and good. As Hickey with a good position inside. A little jump hook from 5 feet. As 21-14, Dodger lead. Here at the ball is Reynolds dribbling to the left side. Little spin move towards the lane. Another running one-hander. He puts it up and he draws a foul. You know, Carl Reynolds with a kid his size at 5'10", to be able to do a spin move, go baseline, left-hand baseline, and put it up with the right hand and draw fouls, that shows you how quick he is. It's Kubley with the foul. That is his first foul. And Reynolds will go to line to shoot a pair of free throws. High school basketball here on D99.3 is brought to you by Ivy Construction. If you need crushed stone, gravel, or ag lime for any project, let Ivy Construction help with your plans. Call them at 987-2967. That's Ivy Construction of Mineral Point. Well, Reynolds makes them both. 23-14. 4 points for Reynolds and a 9-point lead for the Dodgers with 4:30 left here in the first half. With the dribble is Deneur. Deneur stops it. Now he's got to find someone. Finally does to get it up on the left wing side now to Falker. Falker will dribble left baseline, stop and pop from 10, and doesn't get it. Ball, 3 Dodgers went for the ball, and they lost control of it. And Twos is going to get called for a reach-in foul, trying to come up with a steal. And that's only the 4th team foul for Dodgeville as Twos picks up the foul.
I'm seeing quite a difference in the second quarter in the Dodgers defense. In the first quarter, they played a 2-3 zone because of the size advantage on Monroe. But in the second quarter, they switched back to a tough man-to-man defense, and this is how they got this big 9-point lead.
Well, Darren Hawkins back in the game to replace Kubley, as they'll Cheesemakers will inbound from underneath their own basket as it'll be tossed in by Hawkins. He bounce feeding. Oh, boy, Twos almost came up with a steal on that inbounds as Ryan Young with it. Young has the ball out high. They work it up onto the top of the key now, into the hands of Richard. And now his bounce Pete backdoor move. Shot up is good by Ryan Young. Set play on that inbounds, and that's first 2 points for him. 23-16, the lead to Dodgeville with 3:50 left here in this second quarter. Here's Reynolds at the top of the key. Right wing pass to Martin. Martin holds the ball. He'll give it up to the top of the key to McGraw. McGraw up on the side here to Culver. Fall away from 10 is off the iron, no good. And a big rebound by Richard, that time for Monroe. He brings it up quickly. Down the lane he goes. Kicks it out on the wing. Shot taken from the corners up. Off the back iron, no good. Shot by Young. And a whistle. And a foul will be called against Monroe. And it will be against John Hickey, his first foul. And we go all the way down again to shoot some free throws. The free throws are piling up here, and the fouls are piling up, and the Dodgers are the beneficiary right now as they're going to the free throw line. And it will be Jeremy Martin at the line for Dodgeville. Jeremy with 6 points so far in the game. 23-16 lead for the Dodgers. As Martin at the line. And the free throw's up and good. 24-16, 8-point lead for Dodgeville. 3:28 left. Don't forget that at halftime we'll have our scoreboard updates. Culver's of Dodgeville scoreboard update. As Martin makes both free throws, back to a 9-point lead at 25-16. Up on the right wing side is Richard. He gets it up onto the top now to Hickey. Back into the right corner. Here's a drive baseline there by Deneur. Now he goes all the way in the lane, stops, dishes it off on the wing. Here's a shot on the way, no good. Rebound, though, brought down there by Monroe, but he traveled with the ball as Hickey came down with it, and I believe he also might even turned an ankle, and that's why he got the traveling call. 6 turnovers for Monroe. 25-16. And Ryan Young with that long jump shot, no good. And now the Dodgers come out, and as Monroe's going to put a little bit more wall-to-wall pressure here as Reynolds gets it to Culver. Back to McGraw up on the right wing side. Here's Dews posting up, and he got fouled. I'll tell you what, Monroe is piling up fouls as they pile up wood for the winner. Darren Hawkins with his foul. And that for Hawkins will be his first foul. But team fouls are up to 10 already, so now it's super bonus all the way through.
Well, Dodgeville is taking advantage of that over-aggressiveness that Monroe is playing on defense, and that's why these fouls are starting to pile up on the Cheesemakers.
Well, the Dodgers, you know, they take the breaks and the quickness up court when they need to, but then they don't force the issue as Twos misses the first free throw. Kyle Falker comes back into the game here and to replace Ryan Young. 5 points in the game here for Twos, trying to make it 6 here if he can put in this free throw. As Twos lines it up, it's up, and it is good. 10-point lead for the Dodgers, 26-16 with 2:57 left here in this first half. With the ball up on top is Hawkins. They get it out on the right wing side, posting up in the lane. They dish it off on the wing, and the shot to inside is up and good as Tyler Deneur with a drive to the basket draws the foul. And it will be a basket good and a foul on Dodgeville.
Number 20, Josh Culver.
As Josh Culver will get called for the foul. First foul for him, and a chance for a three-point play here for Deneur. And Deneur makes the free throw, and it's now 26-19 the lead for Dodgeville. And again, the full court pressure. Culver has double teamed on him, and they get it to Twos. Here's McGraw all the way to the basket, drives to the basket, puts up no good. A little too hard off the backboard, and back comes Monroe. Here's a drive to the hoop. Shot in the lane is up and good by Richard. 26-21. Again, backcourt pressure. And it's going to be Reynolds breaking it as he gets it into the forecourt. Right wing side. Pass deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Monroe. With the ball inbounding in the right forecourt. Twos toss it into Culver. Culver with the ball. He waits, and it's man-to-man defense played by Monroe. Culver with the dribble, loses control of it. He gets it up high to Martin. Martin at the top of the key with the ball, off to McGraw. Up on the right side, they got Culver posting up, and another push. and a foul going to be called on Tyler Deneur. First foul for Deneur. Monroe fans not happy with the call, but I'll tell you one thing. The Dodger players are posting up, and when they get their post position, they're getting bumped and bodied. The officials haven't changed their calls. This has been the way all game long.
And Monroe just hasn't backed off on the defensive end at all. They're being called for these fouls. You'd almost think they just kind of back it up because the refs are starting to call it a little tight so far.
Yeah. And of course, when the refs are going to try to establish that as Culver makes the first free throw, 27-21 now, and that is 9 points for Culver. And coming back in the game is Mitch Kubley for Monroe. But I mean, you know, officials, they normally set the tone for the game, and I mean, if those calls are being made, you have to adjust yourself to them. Sometimes in a game, that's going to be allowed. Yep. But it's not being allowed in this game. And here's Culver's next free throw, and that's good. It's 28-21. 7-point lead for the Dodgers. 2 minutes remaining here in this first half. With the ball is Richard at the right side, and Kubley at the top. Passing it now to Hawkins, and Hawkins being played there by Culver. Here's Hawkins' drive, kicks out on the wing. Kubley's jump shot is good for 3. Mitch Kubley from the right corner, 28-24. Dodgers into the forecourt with 1:40. Two's baseline, puts up the shot, he hits it. And just like that, two more points back in the bank. And the scoreboard's messed up. Score is 30-26. There, now they got it right. Here with the ball underneath, a shot put up and no good, and a foul going to be called on Dodgeville. And that'll be Culver on the foul. That time he was underneath playing the defense against Darren Hawkins, and Hawkins drew the foul, and that for Culver is his second foul. And 30-26 the lead for Dodgeville. As at the free throw line will be Darren Hawkins to shoot a pair of free throws. Coach Chuck Tank has asked him if he was in the act of shooting or not, and he misses the first free throw. Cody Holbert's going to come in to replace Josh Culver. And they're going to check at the scorer's table here just to see if it was in the act of shooting, or I'm trying to figure out what his questioning is here.
Because he's talking to both coaches right now.
Yeah, one referee is... Yeah, the scoreboard was wrong. It's 30-24.
Yeah.
Don't worry. So I looked up at the clock, and they suddenly jumped Monroe up to 28 points, and I knew it wasn't 26. I was waiting for the change around, and Coach Chuck Tank pointing it out. And just want to make sure. In fact, check our book. Here's the next free throw. That one's good as Hawkins makes 1 of 2. 30-25 lead. 1:20 left as McGraw into the forecourt. McGraw stops to dribble. He'll get it inside to 2, but it's deflected away and stolen. Picked up there loose by Richard. Richard gets away from trouble, and he gets fouled in the backcourt by Dodgeville. As Dodgeville will get called for this foul, and it will be whistled down against David Tews. Second foul for Tews. And 1:11 left. And 30-25 lead, and going to the free throw line will be Aaron Richard. Richard so far in the game with 4 points, and the free throw's up and good. Makes it 5 for him now. And I believe Tews is going to head to the bench now as Brandon Knox checks into the game for the Dodgers. And a good move by Coach Chuck Tank there. You don't want to get a third cheap foul here late in this first half on either Culver or Tews, as the second free throw is up and good by Richard. 30-27. McGraw with the ball. He gives it off to Reynolds, who'll bring it up into the forecourt. Reynolds with the dribble, goes right side. Stops the dribble. Now he'll have to give up the ball. He gets it off to Hulbert in the lane. Hulbert back out high to Reynolds. Reynolds with the ball up on the right angle. Reynolds loses control of the dribble. Now gets it back out high to McGraw. McGraw swings it to Reynolds for 3. Ball on the way. Off the iron. And Knox comes out of there with a rebound. Knox, now the ball loose on the floor, knocked around. It's sideline, last touch by Monroe. Nice play that time by Brandon Knox, and we've got a timeout called on the floor. With 42.8 seconds left, we will keep it right here. As that timeout was called quickly, I'm sure there's going to be a quick play called, and just want to remind you that high school sports on D99.3, proudly brought to you by Dodgeville Chronicle, the Advisor, the Democrat Tribune, and the Pecatonica Valley Leader. Follow your favorite prep teams and athletes in their latest issues. Now 30-27 lead for the Dodgers here and 42.8 seconds left. Both of these teams, they can pressure you full court. They can run the floor. Very, very similar teams.
And this first half has just been a tale of runs. Which team can get the momentum quicker on their side?
So Monroe, while I thought that they pointed the possession to Dodgeville, they said that was the timeout call for Monroe. So Monroe gets the ball back, as Coach Pat Murphy called that timeout, to set up a play here to end this first half. 30 seconds on the clock. Richard passing it up to Deneur. And Deneur will hold the ball and just let the clock tick on down. And as hard as these guys have been working here in this first half, this may not be a bad thing for both teams to give a little bit of a breather here. But they'll be kicking it into gear here soon, as we're now down to 12 seconds. 11, and now Deneur will start the play. Passing it to Richard at the right side. They go into the corner. Back to Richard at the angle. Back to the top to Kubley. There's a pass deflected away. Last touch by Monroe. And that was Kevin McGraw deflecting the ball, and the Monroe player lost control of it. So 4.1 seconds left. The Dodgers will get the ball, and we're going to have a foul on the inbounds. Aaron Richards is going to get called for foul on the inbounds. And so that just gives the ball right to Dodgeville, into Carl Reynolds' hands at the free throw line, with a chance to put points on the board without having to put the ball all the way down the floor.
Now what Pat Murphy from Monroe wanted his team to do.
No. As Reynolds at the line, first free throw hits the front of the iron and kicks out, no good. 3.2 seconds left. Reynolds looks away from the basket, disgusted. Now he gets himself lined up one more time. As he sets, second free throw's up, short again, and the rebound to Richard. Richard along the baseline, his shot from about half court is no good, and that's the end of the first half. With the score, Dodgeville 30 and Monroe 27, and the happy Monroe fans letting the officials know what they thought of the first half, and obviously the rose-colored glasses are not on. We will come back to review the scoring right after this 2-minute break. You're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
D99.3. More next.
Experience is important, especially when you're looking to purchase your dream home or financing your existing one. That's why your friends and neighbors have trusted the Iowa County Title Company. They are Iowa County's oldest and most experienced title company, serving all communities since 1858.
Happens, and we start things off as Monroe will trigger the ball in to start the third quarter. 30-27 lead for the Dodgers. As with the ball up on top will be Tyler Deneur. They pass it up on the left wing side to DeGeis. Back out on top. They're working around the perimeter as the ball is Jesse Espy with it. Espy drives to the lane, stops, now kicks it back up onto the top and into Folker. Up on top as man-to-man defense played by the Dodgers. Espy wheels it back to the top of the key to Hawkins. Here the ball loose on the floor, and we got a whistle, and we're going to have a foul called here on Dodgeville. Foul going to be called on the reach-in against Jeremy Martin for the Dodgers. There's a ball that got deflected loose, and Martin went for the ball, and he and a Monroe player arrived at the same time, but the whistle goes against Martin, and that'll be a foul for him, his second of the game, and the first team foul here in the second half. Bounce feet inside. Here's a drive to the basket. Leaning shot is put up, no good. And Tews comes out there with the rebound, gets it off to Reynolds, and back to Tews. That was Deneur in the drive to the basket. As Tews gets it into forecourt for the Dodgers. Passing up on the left wing to McGraw. Goes baseline, stops, back out to Martin. Martin up to the top of the key to Culver with 7 minutes. Coming up on a 7-minute mark left here in this third quarter. Reynolds up on top to Martin, out to McGraw. They work it around the wheel. With the ball is Culver. Cross-court pass to Reynolds. Reynolds goes baseline, stops, pops from 5, no good. And the ball picked out of there by Hickey for Monroe. So neither team has put any score on the board yet in this third quarter. Up on the right wing side, Folker to the top, to Espy. They wheel it down underneath the Deneur, drive to the basket, shot is up, and a foul underneath against the Dodgers. And a foul he called on Carl Reynolds on the reach-in. So Reynolds gets his second foul of the game, second team foul for the Dodgers here in this second half. And at the free throw line will be Tyler Deneur. Deneur with 3 points thus far in this contest. As Deneur left hands it up there and puts it in. 30-28 lead now for Dodgeville with 6:37 left here in the third quarter. Denuer's second free throw up and bounces around, no good. Martin gets the rebound. And Culver bounce feeding off to McGraw on the wing. McGraw for a three ball. It's off the iron, no good. And back comes Monroe on a quick rebound by Falker. Falker stops at the top of the key with the dribble, being played by McGraw. Goes around to pick, now stops, double team, bounce feed inside. And there's a shot taken underneath and good by John Hickey. And we are tied now at 30 with 6:13 left here in this third quarter. Dribbling it into four quarters, Reynolds for the Dodgers. Gets it off to Martin, to Tews. Tews up on the left angle. Bounce feeding inside to Culver. We got a reach-in foul going to be called against Monroe. And that foul will be called on Denuer. And Denuer picks up his second foul of the game. First team foul here in the second half. So Martin will throw it in from underneath his own basket. Gets it off to McGraw. McGraw up on the left angle for the Dodgers. Gets it out to Reynolds in the corner. Back to Martin. Martin posting up about 50 feet away. Backs in, backs in. Little fall away from 15's up and good. In, out, let's go back in. 32-30. Here's Denuer with the ball, right corner for Monroe. He heads towards the basket. Now dishes off on the left wing side to get it out to the top to Falker. Pass down on the right wing side. Here's Espy in the lane. Little jump hook by inside. Tries it again, doesn't go, and ball kicked out of there by Tews in the hands of Reynolds. Reynolds for the Dodgers, drives baseline, shot up, and off the iron, no good, and reach-in foul going to be called on Josh Culver. And that was a situation where Culver did not have good position, and he reached in to try to poke the ball away, and it's one of those fouls that really didn't have to do.
Yeah, he was just going for the ball, but he just got a little too much of the body, and so far this third quarter, the refs are already setting the tempo.
Mitch Kubley steps onto the floor here for Monroe in to replace Jesse Espy. Looked like he might have got a finger in the eye as he goes to the sideline here. 32-30 lead for the Dodgers. Monroe with the ball at the top of the key. It's Denuer. Denuer has it. He'll give it up on the left wing side to Hawkins. Hawkins dribbles right towards the basket, dishes out on the right wing. They give it off into the hands of Falker, who gets it, kicks it back out on the high right side. Top of the key, they're to Hawkins. Inside lane, 10-footer. It's up, bouncing around, and good. 32-32. And Reynolds will bring it into the forecourt here for the Dodgers. Up on the left angle. Gets it to Culver at the top of the key. Up on the right side now to McGraw. Posting up his Tews. Baseline jumper on the way. A little too strong. And it comes out of there with the rebound is Hawkins. Feeds it on the right side to Denuer. Denuer bounce, will pass it up onto the left wing side. Gets it to Falker. Right back right side. Shot is up. No good. Rebound. Put up is good. And a basket good by John Hickey. And Monroe with the lead of 34-32. Dodgeville back into the forecourt now. Has Culver into the right corner with the ball. Culver will give it to Martin, posting up on the right baseline. Backing and back in. A little pop shot. Doesn't get it to go. And he got bumped pretty hard in the lane there, but no call. And to get it out quickly comes Monroe as Falker with the ball. You can back in and back in and back in, but you have to make the defenseman come towards you. We got a foul called here against Dodgeville away from the ball. Foul will be on Kevin McGraw. That'll be his second foul. And Cody Holbert will come into the game to replace Josh Culver. So Culver will head to the bench area as Monroe will trigger it in here. And a timeout is called by Monroe. So with a 30-second break, let's take it. 2-point lead from Monroe as you're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
MHTC has high-speed internet and digital cable TV. Take advantage of this special. Clear Vision digital TV for just $24.95 a month. DSL internet for just $19.95 a month. Now here's even more savings with multiple services, DSL and Clear Vision for just $29.95 a month with no installation fees. You can watch separate programming on 3 different TVs at the same low price. For more information, contact MHTC at 930-2888. That's 930-2888. MHTC. Offer extended through the month of March at MHTC.
D99.3.
Well, after the timeout by Monroe, don't be surprised if there is going to be another backdoor or inbounds play. They've done this every time off of timeouts. As Falker will trigger it in from the baseline. Falker looks, and said he'll have to throw way out high into the hands of Kubley, way out on top. So that time the Dodgers zoning on that inbounds. They pretty much cut off all the passing lanes. Here's Richard passing it up on the right side to Deneur. They work it around the defense. And again, the zone being played by Dodgeville off that inbounds. Pass up to the top. They go right wing side to Deneur. Deneur, he has it. Nice pass inside, feeding it. And a reverse layup is good by Jesse Espy. Espy was defended well, but he used the basket as an extra shield and laid it in. 36-32. Holbert with the ball for the Dodgers, gives it to McGraw. Back to Reynolds. Reynolds with the dribble on the right angle, stops, gives it off to Martin at the right side. 3 balls on the way. It's off the iron, no good, and the rebound brought down by Richard. Richard down the sidelines is bumped and fouled by Martin. So Martin picks up his 3rd foul. And 3:13 left here in the 3rd quarter.
As Monroe's come out in this 3rd quarter, taking a page from Dodgeville's book is what they did in the 2nd quarter to the Cheesemakers.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening here is Monroe with a good start to this period. 36-32 lead. They have it now, a 4-point advantage. 3:06 left as they have the ball. At the top is Falker. Passing up on the right wing side to Espy. Espy feeds inside and stolen by McGraw. McGraw has 2 on 3. Right wing side to Culver. Fall away from 5. Off the iron, no good. That's a play where if you got 2 on 3, you pretty much just back it up and wait for your rest of your team to come on down. Here, the drive to the lane. It's loose on the floor. Picked up there and pushed up to the basket by Richard. And a rebound by Culver. And a whistle and a foul called on Monroe. And that'll be the 2nd team foul.
Number 34, Jesse Espy. 3rd personal, 2nd
I was explaining to Chris about the incredible moving broadcast table here, and occasionally he tends to forget.
Oops.
Yeah, just about lost everything there, but we're all right. Reynolds falls to the floor, and a tie-up and a possession arrow is in favor of Dodgeville.
Possession goes to Dodgeville.
36-32 lead for Monroe. As Martin will trigger it in from the backcourt, left side. Lob it into Culver. It's Culver there being played by Kubley. Culver will dribble it into the forecourt. Culver has it up on the right side. He'll stop at the top of the key, feeds it into twos, posting up, baseline shot. He draws the foul on the drive to the basket, and that foul will be called on Kyle Falker. As Falker now picks up his 1st foul of the game. But that'll be the 3rd team foul for Monroe, and it was in the act of shooting, so David Tews will go to the free throw line.
Where he's 6 of 8 and so far in this ball game.
So Tews going to be shooting a pair of free throws here. And the first one is on the way, looks short, and it is. Substitutes coming in here for Monroe. As Ryan Young steps onto the floor, and also Darren Hawkins checks in. 36-32 lead for Monroe with 2:24 left in the 3rd quarter. 2nd free throw is there. So 1 of 2 for Tews. And a 3-point lead for the Cheesemakers now. And it's packed house here at Mineral Point High School. Monroe with the ball. Richard passing it up on the left side to Young. Back out high. Into the hands of Hickey. He stops. Dishes it to Kubley. Kubley now to Richard up on the left angle. Pass inside, posting up. His little jump hook in the lane is up and in. Good by John Hickey. Good, quick jump hook by Hickey. Gives a 5-point lead now to the Cheesemakers and 1:55 left in the 3rd quarter. Culver passing it left corner to McGraw. 3-pointer on the way. It's off the iron, no good. And the rebound is brought down there by Hickey. Quickly into forecourt. Here comes Monroe as it's Hawkins with it. Pass left side. Here's Richard passing it on the corner. Nice steal by McGraw. McGraw anticipating that pass. And that is turnover number 9 for Monroe. Here's a 3 for Reynolds. It bounces around, won't go. And the rebound comes out to Ryan Young for Monroe. Kubley passing it up into the corner. Underneath pass all alone. Shot no good. 2nd shot blocked by Tews. Another try at the basket's up and good by John Hickey. Hickey had 3 shots at it, and he finally made the 3rd one go. 40-33. And a whistle and a foul is going to be called on Kubley of Monroe as Mitch Kubley gets called for the foul. 2nd foul for Kubley. As coming into the game now will be Tyler Deneur. 40-33 lead here for Monroe. The 1:08 left here in the 3rd quarter. as Martin will trigger it in from the sideline. Gets it into the hands of McGraw. Back to Martin. Martin back to Culver at the top. Culver with a minute left, passing it to Reynolds. Back to Martin as they work it around the wheel to Culver in the left angle. Here's Tews posting up inside, puts up a shot inside, no good. And the rebound's brought down there by Hickey. On the right wing feed, all alone underneath. The shot is put up and good by Tyler Denor. 42-33. 9-point lead for Monroe. Culver with the ball. He heads to the basket. 15-footers up. Won't go. And Richard gets the rebound. In the backcourt. He brings it into forecourt. Pass is kicked out of bounds by McGraw with 27.8 seconds left here in the third quarter. So Monroe here with a run in this third quarter have now jumped to a 9-point lead.
As Monroe in this third quarter has come out with tremendous defensive pressure, not allowing a lot of open shots for the Dodgers.
Here in the inbound. Richard has it. They get it into the top here. With the ball is Denur. It looks like they'll probably hold for a final shot here in this third quarter. Richard with the ball. Passing it up on the top now to Denur with 13-12. Letting the clock tick down as Richard will have the ball. Back to Denur with 8 seconds. Denur dribbles towards the lane, kicks it up on the right wing. Here's Richard for three, but before the shot, a whistle and a foul going to be called on whom? Josh Culver? Yep, foul's going to be on Culver on a push. And that is his fourth foul of the game. And that'll be the 16th foul for the Dodgers, and Holbert's going to come into the game here for Dodgeville. So 3.4 seconds left. Monroe inbound from their own baseline. Here it is, tossed out high. They get it up on the right side. Richards shot blocked by Tews as it goes out of bounds with 0.3 seconds left. Well, Richards setting up for an outside jumper, and Tews just swatted it out of the air. 0.3. Can barely just get the ball inbound. That's all they'll do. And that's the end of the third quarter. 42-33, the lead to Monroe at the end of three. Let's take a 1-minute break. You're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
When you take your family out to eat, you probably want quality food for reasonable prices.
Regulation time as Monroe with a 9-point lead at 42-33. They get the inbounds here to start the fourth as Denur goes to the lane, puts up a layup and good. Tyler Denur with the basket, and it's now an 11-point advantage for Monroe. Here's a drive by Tews to the basket, puts it up and in. Nice drive by David Tews. Ball from the left to the right hand. In the backcourt, pressure now being employed by the Dodgers as it's Reynolds playing the defense on Richard. Richard gets it up on the right wing side to Denur. Denur heads towards the basket all the way, dishes it off, but he throws it out of bounds. Headed down the lane, and that's 10 turnovers for Monroe in this ball game. So the Dodgers will have a chance here to cut this lead a little bit more. They trail by 9. 7:30 left here in this fourth quarter. Culver into the forecourt for the Dodgers with the ball on the dribble. Setting up the offense as he looks to the right side. He'll bounce it off to Reynolds. Reynolds towards the lane. He stops with it, gets it underneath. There's Tews all alone, puts it up. No good. Didn't get the bounce, and the rebound comes out here to Monroe. Monroe with the ball, and they bring it into the forecourt as Falker with it. To Richard. He dishes it off. Here's a shot from the baseline. Good by Hickey. And it's an 11-point lead for Monroe, 46-35. Culver, and we got a whistle and away from the ball. We're going to have a foul called against the Cheesemakers. And that foul will be called on Darren Hawkins. Second foul for Hawkins on the game. And that'll be the fourth team foul for Monroe. SB comes into the game to replace Hawkins. As the Dodgers will inbound from their own baseline, as Martin will trigger it in to Culver in the right angle. Culver dribbles out of traffic now, and he'll reset the offense. Culver stops, now goes to Tews up the right angle. Tews heads to the basket, loses control of it, and then McGraw gets it. McGraw, he'll put up a three. It's on the way. Front iron, no good. And the rebound brought down by Falker. So Falker gets the rebound. McGraw steals in the backcourt. He's on the floor with the ball, and he calls a timeout. What a play by McGraw. So a timeout called with an 11-point lead for Monroe. Let's take a 1-minute break. You're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
Why Potterton Rule? We're a locally owned, third-generation real estate business. Potterton Rule covers 22 counties with 2 multiple listing services and a full-time staff. Whether you're buying or selling, Potterton Rule can provide you with the service you require. See our properties on PottertonRule.com or call 935-2396 or 987-2142. Potterton Rule, Dodgeville and Mineral Point. You'll like the way we care. People have since 1939.
Wenger Chiropractic Center of Dodgeville has been a part of our community for many years, and they know that you've come to trust their expertise. Doctors James Wenger and Tammy Wilkinson are dedicated to provide their patients with the latest in chiropractic care. Wenger Chiropractic Center is conveniently located at 106 East Spring Street in Dodgeville. And if you're looking for chiropractic care, trust the professionals at Wenger Chiropractic Center, where new patients are always welcome. Call for an appointment at 935-5500. That's 935-5500. That's Wenger Chiropractic Center.
D99.3.
Here's twos in the basket at the right baseline. And it's now 46-37 as they quickly inbounded. And twos at the basket. Cuts it to 9. Monroe with the ball as it's off to Hickey up on the left side. They get it down in a deep zone there to Espy underneath. Now they work it back out top. Up on the wing now to Espy as he dribbles out of traffic. Espy passing it up onto the top there to Falker, and a travel will be called on Falker. That is 12 turnovers for Monroe in this game. And the Dodgers are at the point right now where if they come down on the offensive side, they got to come up with plays. Great play by McGraw on that steal. Calls a timeout. The Dodgers pick up 2 points on that play. That was a big play right there.
Now they get a turnover on the defensive end. He couldn't ask for more.
Yep, down by 9. Culver's pass is off to McGraw. Back to Culver. Culver dribbles left side. He gets his man caught off guard underneath the mark. Puts it up and in, and he's fouled. And a foul called on Aaron Richard. And that for Richard is his foul, second foul of the game. And Martin is going to go to the free throw line for an old-fashioned three-point play. 14 points on the game for Martin, trying to make it 15 here with 5:41 left. His free throws up and around and good. 46-40. Coach Chuck Tank urging the defense on. He's saying, let's go now, boys. It's time to play the D as Richard with the ball for Monroe. Heads towards the right side, gets it off into the corner. They get it there to Falker. They go back out on top. Here's a shot from 15 at the angle. Good by Darren Hawkins. The senior guard with a basket. 48-40 Monroe with the lead at 5:18 left here in the fourth quarter. Reynolds passing it to Martin, now to McGraw up on the right angle. Here's twos, inside move, puts it in the basket, lays it in. 48-42. Back come the Cheesemakers into the forecourt with Hawkins. Passing it out top to Deneur, goes baseline, stops with the dribble, now goes all the way to the basket, puts it up, partially blocked by Martin. Up on the wing to McGraw. McGraw behind the back, dribble, goes to the basket, lays it up, and no good as he draws the foul. He almost had himself a highlight shot there.
That was great open court dribbling, ball handling by Martin.
Timeout called by Monroe, and we will take a 30-second break. 6-point lead for the Cheesemakers as you're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
When you leave a job, why not take your retirement savings with you? Now you can roll over your 401k with someone who's always been there for you. Someone you can count on, like your State Farm insurance agent, Woody Erickson in Dodgeville. Whether you're changing jobs, between jobs, or retiring, consider rolling over your 401k with the people who know you and your plans for the future. Call Woody Erickson in Dodgeville and ask about a tax-deferred 401k rollover. State Farm, providing insurance and financial service. Consult your tax or legal advisor for specific advice.
D99.3.
Bob Luke along with Chris Bowman and John Satterley back at the station, and glad you're listening in here this afternoon on D99.3 and 8:10 a.m. Chris, I'll tell you what, that move by McGraw is one of those my jaw almost dropped. That was really something.
That was in the open quarter, behind the back pass, had his defender turn 360 degrees.
Well, McGraw will be going to the free throw line to shoot a couple of free throws now. 4:51 left here in the fourth quarter. Big free throws here as McGraw's first one is good. Now down to a 5-point lead for Monroe. As McGraw will get the seconds. best play I've seen was making that steal in the backcourt, calling a timeout. Second free throw falls in. Down to a 4-point lead, and now the full court pressure by the Dodgers. Man-to-man defensive pressure as Deneur will have to go up here against McGraw. Deneur gets it into the forecourt quickly as he goes up on the right wing side to Richard. Richard passes it up on the top here to Hickey. Off on the left wing to Deneur. Deneur has it, now backs out of there with it. Now a double team, and here's Reynolds on a steal. Reynolds drives to the basket, lays it up and in! 46-48, now on a 2-point lead as the ball in the forecourt. Hawkins passing it right side to Richard, almost lost it, carried the ball, no call. Here's Deneur in the lane, puts up a shot and a foul going to be called on the Dodgers. That was a turnover waiting to happen, and there was no whistle, but that's the way it goes as Martin gets the foul. And Martin picking up his 4th personal foul.
So the Dodgers are in a little bit of foul trouble with Martin, Culver, both with 4 fouls with coming up on 4 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter.
And Deneur at the line to shoot free throws, and the first one's good. And when you play the pressure defense that the Dodgers are being forced to play, those fouls do pile up.
Yep.
49-46, Monroe with the lead as Deneur will get set for the second free throw, and it's off the iron, no good. Martin with the rebound, gets it on the wing to Culver. Culver stops at the right angle, back to Martin. Off to the top of key for 3 for McGraw, no good. Lost out of bounds, last touch, they said, by Dodgeville. And Monroe will get the ball, even though Tews never even got his hand on the ball. But that's the call, and you live with it, folks. You have to be adults about it. 49-46, 3-point lead for Monroe. As Kubley tied up in the corner, and we'll have a timeout called by Monroe. So Monroe calls the timeout, and we'll take a 30-second break. 3-point lead for Monroe as you're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
Kozelka and Wall Clothing and the Sweatshop in downtown Dodgeville has a prom tuxedo special going on right now. 12 different styles of tuxedos to rent. Only $59. This includes coat, pant, shirt, vest, and tie. So when prom time comes around, you can look your best in this prom tuxedo special at Kozelka and Wall Clothing. 12 styles to choose from, only $59. But you better hurry. Get your reserved now at Kozelka and Wall Clothing in downtown Dodgeville.
D99.3.
All right, folks, I hope you folks are enjoying the game as much as we're enjoying bringing it here, because I'll tell you, this has been one heck of a battle. Dodgeville Dodgers, Monroe Cheesemakers, both of these schools really playing some hard basketballs. Monroe will trigger it in. They toss it in way out high, and it has a Deneur. Deneur being played by McGraw. Deneur with the left-hand dribble, gets around, goes all the way to the basket, puts up a layup, and good. Boy, what a drive by Deneur. 51-46. Culver into the forecourt for the Dodgers. Now with the ball top of the key to Reynolds. Up on the right angle to McGraw. McGraw looks towards the right baseline. He goes to Tews. Tews in deep. Puts up a tough shot. No good. Martin follows up with a tip, and it's good. 51-48. 3:25 left here in the 4th quarter. 3-point lead for Monroe. And with the dribble, here's Deneur into the forecourt. He'll now almost back himself out of a double team. Deneur hits to the lane. They shovel off to Kubley in the left wing. Back out high into the top to Hawkins. Hawkins stops back to Kubley. Kubley at the top. He'll back out and he'll make some room and give it off to Hickey. Hickey heads towards the lane. His drop pass underneath, but before the shot, offensive foul is called on the Cheesemakers. As John Hickey gets called for the foul. And we're going to go all the way to the other end to shoot some free throws. Second foul in the game for Hickey. So with 3:01 left, Josh Culver will go to the free throw line, shooting a 1+1.
18.
So that is, what do you got there?
10 points for Josh Culver tonight.
Oh, okay. You're waving at me. I didn't know what I thought you were just saying hi. Here's Culver's first free throw. It's on the way. It's up, and it is no good. But there's Tews with the rebound. Puts up a shot. No good. And the rebound's brought down there, and a reach-in foul going to be called on the Dodgers. David Tews trying to get the ball back after a tough rebound inside, and he thought he got fouled. Nothing called, and so he gets called for the foul, and we go to the other end to shoot free throws. Always the big games, free throws usually are the determining factor.
Yep.
And at the line will be John Hickey. First free throw, that's hard off the back iron. And McGraw gets the rebound, gets it off to Culver on the fly. 2:52 on the clock. He puts one up from 15. It's up and good! 51-50, 1-point lead for Monroe, and we've got a Monroe cheesemaker. Looks like he might have turned an ankle. Yeah, it is Tyler Deneur who is shaken up, and he is going to head to the floor. He might have twisted an ankle or turned a knee, but nonetheless, he is taking a seat on the floor, and he's going to hop back up and make his way to the bench area. And the officials did a good job stopping play because he did hurt himself on the play, and it looks like an ankle to me.
Yeah, it looks like an ankle, and that could be crucial for Monroe because Deneur is their ball handler. He's their speed guy.
He's their speed guy, and he also pushes that ball up the floor, and he also is a good penetrator through the lane. So, 51-50, 1-point lead for the Cheesemakers. 2:46 left here in the ball game. Monroe will inbound the ball. And right now, they're facing full court pressure, wall to wall, from Dodgeville. Starting five still in there, but a bunch of foul trouble out there. We'll keep tabs on that for you. As Kubley will bring the ball in the forecourt. McGraw playing the defense. Kubley passing up on the left wing side to Hawkins. Hawkins drives towards the basket. He stops, now goes off to Kubley in a right angle. Back off to Hawkins. He'll dribble towards the right side. His pass is thrown out of bounds. Hawkins trying to throw a little pass inside, and that is 14 turnovers for Monroe. And Deneur is going to check back into the ball game here for Monroe. And I'll tell you what, he's still hobbling, but he's coming back out there, and he's in to replace Darren Hawkins. And if I am the Dodgers, I'd be looking whoever's he's playing up against and force the ball into him. That's just my thought, folks, as Culver will dribble it into forecourt. Goes left side with it, clears out the side. They'll give it out to the top to McGraw. McGraw back to Culver, one-on-one. Culver goes baseline. He gets the ball bounced off his hands out of bounds by Kubley. So the Dodgers will inbound from beneath their own baseline. It's 2:11 left on the clock and a 1-point lead for Monroe. Martin to throw it in. Gets it inside there to Culver at the left angle now. Back to Martin in the corner. Back to Culver at the left angle. Want to reset the offense now as he'll get it to the top of the key to McGraw. Back to Culver. Looking inside to twos. Posting up. Baseline shot is up. It is good. The Dodgers take the lead. 52-51. A minute 52 left. Deneur in the backcourt. McGraw playing the defense. Deneur drives all the way to the basket. Dish off. Here's a shot in the lane. Up and good by Fulker. So Deneur showing you that quickness. Draws the defense to himself and gets the easy pass. And it's a 1-point lead for Monroe with a minute 33 left. Here's Reynolds with the ball. Passing it to McGraw, right side off to Martin. Martin back out top to McGraw. Inside twos. Pass is stolen away. Here's the drive on the basket to Fulker. Lays it up and in. 55-52, a minute 15 left. McGraw getting to the forecourt for the Dodgers. Back on top to Culver. We got a tie-up inside, and we'll have a foul called. A foul will be called on Monroe. And that foul will be called on Kyle Fulker. As Fulker that time just basically took twos and took him to the mat, basically. That'd have been 2 points for a takedown if you're doing wrestling. As a minute 10 left, and twos will go to the free throw line. He'll be shooting the bonus. David Twos at the free throw line. First one's up, good. 55-53. Now the Dodgers discussing how they want to play this off of this free throw defensively. They get their direction straight as Twos gets set for the second. That's up, and it's good. 1-point lead, and here's McGraw to steal. McGraw makes the steal, and before he goes out of bounds, calls a timeout. 30-second timeout. Let's take it with a minute 9 left. You're listening to High School Sports on D99.3.
At Farmers Savings Bank, we know how hectic daily life can be. That's why we put an emphasis on convenience. By offering online banking available 24 hours a day, we make it possible for you to access account information, make loan payments, and transfer funds on your own time. Give us a call or check out our website at www.farmersavings.com for more details on signing up for our free online banking. Farmers Savings Bank, Mineral Point, Dodgeville, Edmond, Hollandale, and Ridgeway. Member FDIC.
D99.3.
I'll tell you, Kevin McGraw comes up with some big plays. He had a big steal earlier in this game in the backcourt. Called a timeout when he made the steal. The Dodgers were able to convert on the inbounds to get 2 points. Right here, he steals this inbound. Before he goes out of bounds, calls a timeout to save it. And a possession for Dodgeville and a chance here. Trailing by 1 with a minute line left.
Just a great heads-up play by McGraw. And this fourth quarter, the Dodgers have shown great poise, coming back from 11 down, taking a lead momentarily, but only being down 1 with just over a minute left. You can't ask for more.
Well, Martin will inbound for the Dodgers as he will throw it in from the left baseline underneath their own basket. As Martin waits, he'll get it off to Twos. Twos has it. He'll dribble towards the lane, drives, puts it up and in! 56-55 and a minute left, and the Dodgers with the lead. Monroe with the ball as it's Denur. Denur into the forecourt. Passing up on the left wing side to Kubley. Kubley back up on the right side, Aspie. Looks inside, nobody there, now backs it out. Twos on the defense on him. Here's a foul going to be called on Twos as he ran into a pick out there. And a foul going to be called, I believe, on David Twos. That'll be his 4th foul. And at the free throw line will be Kyle Falker. Dodgers, you have Twos with 4, Martin with 4. Culver's got 4 fouls. And 43.3 seconds left. And at the free throw line, Kyle Falker for Monroe. Getting set for the first free throw. Up, and it is no good. McGraw with the rebound. He gets it off to Culver. Culver, out of the backcourt he comes. Gets it into forecourt. Stops the dribble. Now being double teamed, and a timeout going to be called. Nope, we're going to have a whistle and a foul called as Tyler Denur will get the foul. I thought he was going to call a timeout, but Denur got him on the arm. 3 fouls for Denur. And Culver's going to go to the line to shoot free throws, and the Dodgers with a 1-point lead, trying to pump it up to 3. 12 points for Josh Culver in the game, as the first free throw is going to be coming up. Here's Culver eyeing it up. It's up, and it is good. Was it any purer than that? 57-55. Dodgeville with a 2-point lead. 33.1 seconds left as Culver is eyeing up his second free throw. It's on the way, and it's there. And a timeout is called. Nope, substitution. Aaron Richard. It's virtually impossible for me to see the benches here to see if there's timeouts being called. We got everybody in the stand standing up in front of us, and I got to stand up, and all I see is like about half the court, folks. So sometimes if I'm guessing, well, a lot of folks have claimed that I guess a lot of times when I do games, but
I can see bits and pieces.
Yeah. Well, anyway, a little hold up here with 32.8 seconds left, and discussion on the sideline with the official scores. And I think what they're saying is that it's impossible for them to have run any clock.
Yep.
It should be 33.1 on the clock. It has 32.8, and they never got the ball inbounded.
Clock malfunction, or?
Well, not a clock malfunction as much as it was a malfunction of the operator anticipating the ball to be inbounded. And, the referee, I think did a good job going up to the official scores and say, listen, you can't start that clock until you see it, in motion. Now, see, I don't know if they can reset the clock here when they get under a minute.
Some clocks you have to set it at a certain point, you have to let it tick down, but...
Yeah, well, they got it up to 33.0 seconds. Now, if you're going to argue about 0.1, you're asking a lot. Now the officials are going to, the officials are going to say to the coaches, says, listen, what we're going to do, we're going to let the ball get inbounded, and they're not going to start the clock for just a split second, and then they're going to start it. We're not going to try to toy around with this machinery here and take away from a great game. So here we go. Ball going to be thrown in by Hickey. He gets it into Deneur. And Deneur will bring it into the forecourt with 28, 27, 26. Passing up on the right wing side to Richard. They get it up on the top again to Hickey. Hickey back out on the wing to Hawkins to Deneur. Deneur with 16 seconds. 15. They bounce feet inside, and then we got a timeout called by Monroe. I'll tell you what, they had a great look inside. A one-on-one setup inside. They called a timeout. I didn't catch the player for Monroe. He was there about 5 feet from the basket, ready to put in a basket, but again, they trail by three. They might be holding off for a three-point shot. Well,
whatever works.
We'll keep it here, folks. Well, if any of you folks needed to take a little stress test, for your doctor, just hang in there with us here for about the next 14.3 seconds.
I'm just checking my pulse right now.
I love this time of year.
Oh,
man.
I mean, both ball clubs coming back from 10, 12-point deficits. Throughout this ball game, both teams have played an excellent game.
Well, we can say all the cliches in the world about it's a shame a team has to lose, but when you see both clubs like this, how well they play coming back from adversity and that, I mean, I'll tell you what, this is what high school ball is all about. Hickey will toss it in from underneath his own basket for Monroe. Dodgers, all the 5 starters are in. Hickey going to toss it in way long to Deneur. Deneur will bring it back into the forecourt. They work it on the swing to Hawkins, up on the left side. Hawkins looks like he'll pass it right side. There's Deneur, puts up a shot, and he draws a foul. He's going to get 3 free throws.
What you didn't need.
Josh Culver gets called for the foul. He is fouled out of the ball game.
It's what you didn't want.
And this is going to be 3 free throws coming up here for Tyler Deneur. He pump fake, got Culver in the air. He draws the foul, and he's going to shoot 3 free throws with a chance to tie it up. And the Dodgers point guard, Josh Culver, is done for the game.
And if this game goes to overtime, that could be crucial.
Oh, what a great play by Tyler Deneur. Free throws on the way. First one good. 58-56. 4.9 seconds left. Second one on the way. That's good. 58-57. And a timeout called by Dodgeville. We'll keep it right here. That was a situation where once he came around the pick and he got the pass, you've got the lead at 3-point. You'll let him take the shot.
Yeah, you let him you don't foul. You don't put him on the line.
You don't even try to block it.
Yep.
And I know Josh was trying to make the big play to put an end to this game, but there's a situation where that aggressiveness might just have made it a real tough situation here for the Dodgers. We'll see what happens.
And keep in mind, if this game goes to overtime, Dodgeville is still in that foul trouble with 2 other starters with 4 fouls.
Let's also not forget, it's 4.9 seconds. If he misses this free throw, there's a rebound that has to be gotten. And if a missed free throw is missed bad enough, somebody can pick up a ball in the lane, put it up for 2, and it's suddenly a different ending.
Yep.
So let's see. As Deneur comes back to the free throw line. Martin and Twos are on the inside. Reynolds and McGraw at the line. Shot no good. Martin gets the rebound. And a whistle and a foul called on Monroe. So now we go to the other end to shoot free throws. And the Dodgers with a 58-57 lead. Wow. Not over yet, folks. Martin has a chance now with some free throws. He'll be shooting 2. The Dodgers will send back everybody. Nobody underneath here for any rebounds. He's got 2 free throws no matter what. And Martin gets set. First one on the way. It's there. 59-57. 3.4 seconds left. Don't be surprised we get a timeout called here before this inbounds if it's another made free throw. Second one on the way. Yes. 60-57. Ball inbounded. It's Hawkins. Hawkins from the half court puts it up. And no good. And the Dodgers have won 60-57 over the Monroe Cheesemakers. What a game. The Dodger fans on the floor here, and the players jumping for joy. We got ourselves one heck of a party going on here at Monroe Point.
There's pandemonium here.
What a great game by two great high school teams. Again, it's a cliche. It almost sounds ridiculous when you say it, but it's a shame someone has to lose.
Yep.
But I'm going to look back, and when we're gonna get the presentation of the regional championship trophy. And right now they're getting the fans back in their seats. Dodgers with a 60-57 victory here. And now the players are exchanging their handshakes, and that's what they got to do. I mean, this is just such a great ball game. And I'm going to make my call as far as if we had an MVP or a player of the game. In my mind, it's Kevin McGraw. Now, Kevin McGraw came up with some of the most intelligent plays I have seen a high school player do ever. I've only been doing high school games since 1976, folks. He made a brilliant steal in the backcourt, called a timeout. This is when there was just two guys. It was just him by himself.
This is a great day for basketball.
And, well, let's pick up the PA announcer here.
Athletic Director, Monroe Point Athletic Director, Vicki Dole will now make the presentation.
I would like to congratulate both teams on their performance today. To Coach Pat Murphy and the Monroe Cheesemakers, congratulations on a great season. Now I would like to present the regional championship plaque to Coach Tank and the Dodgeville Dodgers.
Carl Reynolds picking up the plaque and displaying it to the Dodgeville faithful as the Dodgers move on here in the high school basketball tournament for this season, as they all hold it high, and the Dodgeville fans letting it out right now. An absolute tremendous ball game here from